Hey guys, how's it going? Hobo Yeti here. I just noticed this little. I had like a zit. I don't get zits very often, but when I do, they just bug the crap out of me. So that's fun. Anyway, it got really cold last night. Man, it got down to like 37, it said, but you know, when you're used to it being the 40s and higher, then it getting down to 37. It's just cold and miserable, and I just spent, I took my cocoon, and I pinned it up high, and, I was thankful that I had a hot hand, and I just threw it the foot box of my sleeping bag, and wow, it was okay, but like the whole air was cold and made my throat all messed up. Anyway, yeah, so I just wanted to give you guys like a little mental health update. I haven't done one of those in a little bit. I did a lot of videos last month, and a big reason for that is the depression was just gone away. At first it was like, I'd have some good days, and then I'd be waiting for the boom, waiting for the other shoe to drop, and that was stressful, but I got through it and just started having good days repeatedly, and I blame it on the antihistamines. Not really blame, that's not the right word, but I'm thankful for the antihistamines. I've only got a finite amount of those. I guess I could go and tell them I'm itching, and if I could get, maybe before I head out on the road, maybe get another a bottle or two of these things. The thing is they're real small pills, real tiny, and so it's not like I can cut them in half. But anyway, the other night, so the night, not last night, but the night before that, I had a real issue, a real problem. I don't know what it was. I mean, I kind of determined, like, by self-diagnosing what it was, but it was like 3 a.m. in the morning, and it was, I couldn't breathe. I mean, I had difficulty breathing, couldn't get a breath in. Initially, earlier in the day, I thought, because it started earlier in the day, kind of, and I wasn't able to breathe as well, and I thought it was, allergies. It's this time of year. There's, a lot of the buds, or the trees are sprouting little tiny leaves, buds, and of course the magnolias everywhere, which I don't know, maybe there's pollen in the air or something. So I assumed it was that. I have had head cold kind of stuff, so I thought it was that. But I was also like the whole day, I felt like throwing up, nauseous. And like underneath my arms, like underneath the upper part of my arms, was on both sides, was tingling a little bit, and I had an eye migraine, and I was like, what is going on with me? I'm just falling apart, and like, so a week and a half ago I went to the doctor to for the post scabies syndrome or whatever, and got some medication, and they gave me like this one medication. It was like one of those serious medications where they it comes in a little packet, and you take one a day, and it was like it had the paperwork and stuff with it. It had like lots of fine print and crap. I haven't been taking that for the last week though, so not that. But they had me taking something else. It was like a Zyrtec. RX brand, whatever, a prescription brand. I've been taking that. I've been taking the antihistamines, and that's pretty much it. And so I was like, I don't know. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was dark, and I was cold. And I just, like, I was at a point where I was like, I can't breathe. Like, this is not, something's wrong, something's really wrong. And, but I didn't know what to do, right? Like, I started going on my phone. I was like, okay, is there an emergency room around here? And there's not really out here. There is a in the city proper. There is, but I was checking out the reviews, and it was like, and normally I don't really check that out too much, but in this case, I was looking at it, I was like, wow, like there are like 2,000 reviews and like 2-star rating, right? And like people pictures, right? They're showing pictures of blood on stools and tissue samples left out, and just kind of a gross, like I wouldn't go there. I mean, if I had a choice. But either way, it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. What am I going to do? I'm homeless. I'm sitting in my tent, like, and there's no buses running. I don't have any money for Uber or anything like that. So I was just like, well, what am I going to do? And I guess the only choice that I figured I had was I could call an ambulance and they could come out here to the woods, or maybe I could meet them over there by the road or something. But then I was like, I'm not an alarmist. If it was, maybe if I felt like it was life or death, maybe. But even then, I'd probably not do anything, because I don't like the flashing lights, and then all the attention. I just don't like that. And so, but I made a post about this yesterday. But the thing is like being homeless. There's a certain acceptance that goes along with it. I think that is acceptance of the horrible, the terrible, the worst case scenario. I was laying here and I was like, well, if I stop breathing and I die, then I die. I'm not seeking it out, but if it comes to me by virtue of being homeless, then I die. And in a lot of ways there is that I think there's a truth in that, but at the same time it's kind of a dark truth. It's accepting that acceptance of bad things, planning for the worst case scenario, and trying to avoid it, and trying to prepare yourself for something better. But if something bad happens, if something terrible happens, it's kind of like, yeah, maybe you didn't see it coming, but you kind of like, yeah, because it's like I'm homeless, right? And regardless of the reasoning behind that, and regardless of how it came to be and how it came to pass, and this is kind of the worst. Don't get me wrong. There are aspects of being homeless that are good, but in a lot of ways, like, I'm already at the bottom of the barrel, right? So if something bad happens, that just kind of goes with the territory. You know what I mean? But yeah, being homeless, I mean, I don't mind sleeping in a tent. I do mind sleeping in a tent in certain weather. I do mind the bugs. There are bugs out now with the change of the season, and I heard like a rat or mouse or some kind, maybe a squirrel. I don't know. It could have been anything. Chipmunk. I don't know. At the head of my tent, and I just kind of got out my essential oils. I think I have eucalyptus in here. It doesn't really matter. I got rid of the peppermint. I don't like that smell. It's too bold. But they're all kind of bold. And I just peppered it against, shook it against the edge of the tent, and I didn't hear anything more. I guess the animals that rely on scent and odors and smell don't like overpowering odors. So, it's good that I had that. I had it left over because I bought a 3-pack in order to get the tea tree oil, and that's what I had left. I don't know, the depression. I mean, the depression is pretty much gone, and I'm thankful for that. But it's hard acclimating to. The thing is in the last 2 years, I've dealt with depression, moderate to severe, and so I know how to handle that. I know how to cope with that. Like, okay, you're feeling a 2 out of 10, then do this. If you're feeling a 3 out of 10, you do this. If you have low energy, you have high energy, you're feeling happy, you're feeling sad, maybe you're feeling fuzzy. Like, I need to add like another ometer to the tomometer. So I've got the energy, emotional stuff, and then the brain chemical imbalance, the depression. I'm going to add another ometer to that, and I don't know what it would be called, but like some days I'm fuzzy, lethargic, fuzzy, not just tired, but like my brain's foggy, and so maybe it's the fogometer, right? And maybe a low value is, or the clarityometer. I don't know. Like the higher the ometer is, I don't know. Maybe the clearer things are, but there's definitely a fogginess and stuff that can come upon me, and I'm not as clear. When I was taking the medications and stuff that they had me on, man, I was just dumb. I mean, the brain. I'd take that one medication, and it was just like I wouldn't know how to. I would miss words. I would forget words. I would just dumb and foggy and whatever. I don't know. In the near future, my hope is to get out of this situation. I still have a lot of gear to buy. It always happens like that when you're planning on a trip, and especially when you're homeless and you don't have any money. There's still stuff I need to buy. I was looking at, and I'm like, okay, well, I was in there yesterday, and I was like, well, like I need a new pair of shoes. Like the pair of shoes that I have, these muck boots. This one, I think it's the left one, has like a hole in it. So if I step in rain or a puddle or something like that, it gets wet, and I hate that. But I don't have any other shoes because those are the only ones I had from when I had the scabies and all that. I had to get rid of all my stuff. So I was in there, and I was like, okay, I've got a few bucks. I can get one of these cheap $15 pair of shoes, right? And I was like, but like I don't want to, at the end of the month, I need to take any money that I get at the end of the month from YouTube and such to buy like a good pair of walking shoes. It's gonna, like $120 pair, something that's gonna get me down the coast and back if I need it. Something that's gonna be sturdy and stuff. And these $20 shoes that they have at Walmart just don't do it. It's garbage. But I was thinking maybe something just to walk around here with, and because I want to start exercising. That was my commitment after I made it through to the morning yesterday morning. I was like, okay, I'm gonna start eating better. I'm gonna start and I have started eating better. I bought some pickles, and some I had a salad yesterday. It was really kind of miserable diet, but I'm feeling a little bit better, really, from eating better. That helps. Oh, and I did figure out that the problem was, or at least I'm pretty sure that the problem was this nasal mist spray. Here it is. Yeah. So this nasal pump spray stuff. I've used this now and again. Just like, it helps. Like I have this other thing, this what do you call it? Like mentholated Vicks thing, whatever. And that's good for getting like for clearing out like the mucus and all that stuff, snot and whatnot. But the mist spray really helps break it up. And so if you're, and I don't use that often, maybe once a day, maybe sometimes twice a day. But I was, in addition to quitting certain kinds of foods and certain kinds of food and getting more exercise and stuff, I decided to kind of check, I stopped taking basically any medication, any caffeine, anything. The antihistamine, stopped it all. And I wanted to determine, like, okay, maybe I'm having a reaction to one of these items, one of these things that, perfect storm of doing things I don't think it was the peeps yesterday or the day before yesterday, but it could be. It could be contributory or whatever. But I stopped taking the medication, and then I didn't take anything, and then I did this nasal spray last night because I kind of fell asleep last night and then woke up and had like a whole head cold thing, and I just did a spray, and then wow, I suddenly couldn't breathe, and so actually I need to throw this in the garbage. It and then I looked up online. There can be some complications with that. Either from frequent use, which that was not me, or sometimes like a reaction that, you've got phlegm and stuff coating stuff, and it can cause a doubling up effect of that stuff, just by having sort of an allergic reaction. And since the scabies thing, when I was doing the permethrin and all that, like, I've never been like really allergic to any kind of fabric or chemicals and stuff. I mean, I worked in the restaurant industry. We'd take that degreaser and basically dip our hands in it, and up to the elbows, and you know what I mean? So never had any problems with anything like that. But lately it seems like everything, like my body is like overly sensitive to everything, and potentially the nasal mist spray or whatever. I just got to be real careful. So I am taking some medication, but I'm going to be very careful going forward. And I'm going to exercise more. I've been kind of, I had this bus pass for a long time and had some money on it. So I was like, well, it's raining, so, I don't really want to walk in the rain. But lately it's been getting sunny, and I just been like yesterday, I was like, I'm going to walk to the library. I got out up the street, and I was just like, nope, not going to happen. Not going to happen. I'm not able to do it. And so I did do a little bit of walking. There's a parking lot up there, and I kind of walked around it a couple of times. But the thing is not to do, when you're younger, you can do like a quick, like, I'm going to get in shape and I'm going to walk, 20 miles, and then you walk 20 miles and you feel like crap, and then you continue walking 20 miles. But when you're older, I think you have to take things a little bit easier, baby steps, really. So I don't know. So there's not much really going on. Like I said, I have been feeling better, and that's why I did a whole lot of videos last month. I just felt it, and a lot of times my process is I'll come up with an idea for a video, and then I'll write it down and write down some thoughts to it, and then I'll let it go, and then I'll come back to it later maybe. What I've been doing instead is I've been using that vidIQ thumbnail maker, and when I come up with an idea, I'll create a thumbnail for it, and I'll just save it, and then that will be the inspiration for, sometimes, I have a thumbnail in there that's been going on for a little bit. And also I wanted to kind of get done with a lot of the homeless stuff, right? A lot of the homeless content that I want to put out. I still have some of that to put out because I will be kind of changing to more of a cooking sort. I mean, like my goal is to, provide, I'll still do like mental health stuff, and I'll still do like other videos, but I want to change it so that when I have talks like this, I'm actually cooking something, right? I'll be cooking something on my stove in the background. It'll be super scenic and pretty and stuff, and you won't have to really see my face. I'll put my face up in the corner up here somewhere, and that'll be talking, and it'll just be more aesthetically pleasing for me, I think. And so I'm doing okay. I'm just like, right now it's the beginning of the month, so food stamps kicked back in, yay, so I can eat. I'm not like struggling to eat and eating crappy garbage, not garbage, but that the lowest common denominator cracker, right? And stuff like that. I just get tired of that. But I am not going to be drinking any more energy drinks, that's for sure. No more sodas. I'm going to try to start focusing on on getting in shape. I do have a fair amount of gear to get, and I think I'll have enough at the end of the month. I think before I start my walk, I've got to get some good shoes, and probably if there's things that I can do without. Just talk real quick. I'm almost at the end here, but there's things that I could do without. Like I'm going to need socks and double up on the socks, but like I want to get a pair of shorts, but honestly, I can take my cargo pants here and cut them, and then I'll have pants. I mean, the thing is, I'm going to be walking down the coast. It's not but there are certain things I would like. They have these, when I walked across the country in 2015, I got a pair of these give and goes, right? They're like a pair of underwear. They go for like $20, but I think I've told you, they're pretty freaking great. But like, I can't justify spending $20, if I had a little more cash, I would definitely get those, because they are awesome. They're like, they don't hold odors. I mean, they're easy to wash. They dry out super quick. They're super comfortable. But like, okay, this is not a commercial for that. But no, this is good stuff, and so there's certain quality items I'd prefer. I can do without the Give and Go ex officio boxer briefs or whatever. I can do without that. I have been kind of collecting things. Like I've got a water filtration system that I got like 2 months ago. I got a new backpack just in case, because if the cart goes down, which I don't expect it will, I'll have, or even just while I'm in town or something, if I make a campsite outside of town, I want to head into town, I don't want to take the cart with me necessarily, so I'll just like grab my backpack, and I just want something that's going to hold most of my valuables and stuff. But yeah, there's little things. I bought some bandanas, and little things that I could get right now. But anyway, things are going okay, guys. Normally my mental health check-in is like, oh, this really sucks. And, being able to breathe and being cold and stuff like that really sucks a lot. That's not fun. But I'm doing well, and I'm kind of looking forward to the end of the month so I can start the new journey. And there's some other things I'm looking forward to, meeting up with a good friend, and so that'll be really great. And so I don't know, I'm just hopeful, but anxious, ready for tomorrow to happen. Anyway, I guess that's all I got. The problem is like I'm on vagabond time. Vagabond time is where just things, you deal with today and tomorrow, and eventually next week gets here. But in the meantime, just getting through today, right? And that's one aspect of it. But time, you're living so much in the moment. Like for normal people, they go through regular time, and it's like, okay, well, just watch TV for an hour or something like that, and basically there's just a lot of this fog in your head where you're trying to get from one point to the next, waiting until you get paid and stuff like that. But when you're in vagabond time, or hobo time, or homeless time, whatever you want to call it, survivalist time, when you're out in the bush or something like that, you're active in every single moment. There's not like a time where your mind's not actively thinking. And so the problem with that is time goes by ultra slow. When you're enjoying yourself, that's great, because you have that lasts a little bit longer than it normally would. But when you're when things are not as enjoyable, you're just trying to get through the day, through the week, you either sleep or you find stuff to do, and hopefully eventually the time comes when you can focus on that next day when things will actually happen. So anyway, thanks for all your support, guys. I really appreciate it. And monetary and emotional and kudos and all that means the world to me. It really helps out. All of the above, Anyway, I hope your road's a good one, and if you're homeless, hope it doesn't suck for you. Take care.